Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thank you for joining us for our last night of the Adult Education Open Evenings. Tonight, we'll be covering access to engineering, and I'm going to introduce Alison just shortly. If you've missed out on the support evening where we talked about careers, financing your studies, and how to apply, you can go back and rewatch all them videos over on our YouTube and Facebook channel. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Alison. She's going to give us a bit more insight into the course she offers, but we do offer other access courses. Their video was last night. Again, you can rewatch this at any time over on YouTube and Facebook. But we're going to get a bit more insight into engineering. So, hi, Alison. Hi, Alison. Just remember to unmute yourself. Always a good start.
Right. Okay. Hi.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
See you. Fine. Thank you.
So obviously we had access. Leslie delivered the access session yesterday, but we're going to get a bit more insight into your course, which is access to engineering. So could you give us a bit more information?
Okay, so Access to Engineering is based at Abbey Park campus, and we are based in the technology building, which is a sort of across the main road from there. Okay, so that's a sort of purpose-built engineering building with workshops and so on, and sort of computer rooms, electronics labs, etc. As far as the Access to Engineering is concerned, obviously it's like any access course. It's designed for students who are 19 plus and wanting to do a 1-year course and then go primarily to university, but we have had people do different things after it as well. It is quite heavily, unfortunately, because it's engineering, it is quite heavily maths based. So maths is sort of one of the real sort of requirements for it. You will do quite a lot of units in maths, but also we study mechanical science and electrical science, which again are very much maths based. So as far as the sort of breakdown of the sort of course that we do, the main things that you'll be studying are maths, mechanical science, electrical science, and study skills. It's a 1-year course. What we generally do is we do it on 2 days a week, 2 quite long days a week, which means that if you do have a job alongside it, you would be able to carry on doing that to a certain extent. What we generally say is the commitment is 2 days in college and probably a similar amount of time outside of college for doing the coursework, etc. As far as how it's assessed is concerned, most of it is assignments, okay? And like any access course, it's pass merit distinction, and you, depending where you want to go to university, will depend what you need as far as the breakdown of those is concerned. So like I say, mainly assignments. We do have some small amounts of controlled in-class assessments, and we also do have a couple of actual practical assessments that you have to do as a requirement of it as well. The people who teach on it have been teaching on it for a number of years, so they know very much how to sort of structure it and so on, how to assess it. I mean, people who come on it, they enjoy the course. There is a mixture of sort of theory sessions and some practical sessions. Perhaps not as many practical sessions as you perhaps might want, but obviously we're sort of limited for time and so on with this. What you do over the course of the year is you would build up a portfolio of your work, and the exam board that we work for, they would come in twice a year and they'd have a look at a sample of people's work and just check that what we're saying about your grades is what you're sort of getting. Okay. Now, I assume that there's been other sort of evenings where it's been explained about the sort of fees and so on for access courses. So ours, it follows the same sort of format. If it's your first level 3 and you're under 24, then there's no requirement to pay. If you're over 24 or it's not your first level 3, then you do have to pay the course fees, which for an access course is about, for our access course, is about 4,000. Okay, give or take. I'm not sure on the exact figure for next year. So I'm trying to think of other things to say about it.
That's fine. If that's the course in general, then we can move on to the support available.
Yeah.
So obviously with support available, you've just spoken about the financial side, and obviously we did a full stream on the first evening, guys, where you can go back and rewatch that about financing your studies, and information is also available on the website. But in terms of support, maybe peer-to-peer support, tutoring, what is there available?
Okay, so we have in our department, we do have learning mentors and learning coaches. So our learning mentor, she tends to work with the group, particularly helping them with things like their UCAS personal statements and so on. And then our learning coaches would help with more general sort of welfare issues, equipment for studying, that type of thing. If needs be, we would put people in touch with specialist assessors such as dyslexia assessors and so on, if that came up in your sort of interview for the course and so on, or if we recognise that there might be a need there. There is in the library there are generally sort of drop-in sessions, particularly for maths and English, which can be useful, not only for the maths element of the course, but also because with the study skills, you need to be able to structure your work and write sort of a good sort of well-balanced sort of piece of work for that. So again, that's other support you might want to look into as well. Okay.
I can understand that. I come from a house of engineers, and their writing. I mean, talking they've been trained up in the 80s and all that. Their writing is terrible compared to what they can do maths wise. So please do take advantage of those drop-in sessions if you do enroll on this course.
Yeah,
that's great. And obviously, speaking of such access course, a lot of students who do is genuinely the end point is to go to university. So what are the post-course progression options?
Okay, so like you say, most people, obviously, that's their intention, that they want to go on to university somewhere. A lot of people stay local, so we get a lot of people going to De Montfort, Leicester, Loughborough, Nottingham. Coventry is very popular because they do sort of a lot of motorsports courses, which again, a lot of our access students have gone on to. They like doing things like aeronautical science. Quite a few people have gone to do that. But people have also gone and done other things as well at university. So we had somebody who went to do accountancy, somebody went to do maths, somebody went to do business. So you're not necessarily fixed on having to do engineering, because we are giving you sort of quite a good sort of science and maths background. So you could go on and do another science or whatever if you wanted at university. We do keep some people who come on to our HNC and HND, which is also based over in the technology building. Quite a few access students have done that. And some have just used the qualification, but then have decided they'll go and get a job instead. And then at a later stage, perhaps a couple of years working, and then have decided to go on to university. So it's all different depending what you want. But I would say the majority of people go somewhere else to university. They might go on a foundation year, or they might start on the first year. I think it really depends. If people who get very good grades tend to want to be on a first year, because really if they do the foundation year, it's sort of repeating what we've been doing already on the access course.
Yeah, especially because they're so specific. It's not like you doing 3 A levels. A foundation course might be beneficial for you. But your aim is the engineering. That's what your learning has been centered around. And just leaning on from what you said about the HNCs and HNDs, obviously we offered them through Leicester College. There must be a lot of adults that obviously pick up that because they can't commit all the time to be constantly studying. They might have to go back out to work for a year or so, but they're always welcome back. Is that true?
It is, yes. So I mean, our HNC, we do have a part-time and a full-time option for it. So yes, so if you are working, the part-time option is 1 day a week, which often people can manage to fit that around family and work and so on. Whereas obviously our full-time option is a bit more involved.
Yeah.
You'd be there more of the time.
Okay, that's fantastic. And with that, that's fine. With that, we may as well move straight on to questions. So,
Okay.
as an adult learner, how can I be sure I have the correct qualifications to enroll onto this course?
Okay, so I know that in the prospectus it says, I think, 4 to 6 GCSEs, including maths and English, which would be our sort of preferred set of qualifications that people would have. We do take people who maybe have dropped, say, the English a grade, and we do let them study a GCSE alongside it. What we would really struggle with is if people don't have GCSE maths at least grade 4 or grade C, because of the sort of level of the content. If people are that little bit older, because often if people are that little bit older, they maybe have not got the same formal qualifications. So we would sort of assess people on the basis of what they've done individually, rather than just blanket saying, no, you can't come on the course. We would do maybe a little assessment just to check, really, because it's no good sort of enrolling on a course and then finding you really struggling right from day one, because that's very off-putting. Whereas
Especially with all the money you've spent on it as well.
Yeah. Because once you've committed yourself to the course, if you don't withdraw very early on, you're sort of stymieing yourself for going on a course at a later point.
Yeah. And obviously, I think it's worth noting as well that if you want to do the Access to Engineering course, but you can't go on it straight away because your grades, we do offer GCSEs for adults as well, which you can start off with and then progress onto the Access course. And some of those are available in the evening, so you can still continue with your day-to-day jobs and life until you're ready to enroll onto that. So thank you for that. And following that, how flexible are the study options?
Okay. Then, I mean, as far as the flexibility is concerned, I think the flexibility we've got is that it is 2 days a week, rather than you committing yourself to being there 5 days a week in college. So we don't do a sort of a part-time option with the Access. It is a full-time course for the year, mainly just because of the structure of it, that it would make it very, very difficult to.
You're cramming a lot in.
Yeah, you are. Yes, yeah.
I mean, if someone told me I had to cram my 3 A levels into 1 year, I think I'd cry and go, no, I won't bother. So yes, there are 2 days a week. It's still a small amount of time compared to 5 days.
It is, yeah.
Okay, and then you've got adults who may be worried about returning to education. They've got kids maybe, or they've got other issues, or they might have to ask for reduced hours of work. But so what can you tell us about previous adult learners and their experience with you on your course?
Okay, so we've had quite a few that are sort of not your conventional sort of under 24s. We've had quite a few people who've been out to work for a lot of years. They've got children and so on. Maybe even their children are grown up and they've come back to this. Generally, although I think possibly they might feel a little bit intimidated at the start by the fact that a lot of the students are a lot younger than them, a lot of the time they've fitted in very quickly, very well. They've formed sort of small study groups with other students and so on, and it's worked very well. And in fact, it's quite a good influence perhaps on some of the younger ones to have older people in the class as well with them. And so generally we don't have any real issues at all.
And that's been a commonality actually across the streams I've done the last few days, that everyone has something different experience and different to give despite the age. Old can learn from the young and young can learn from the old. And it's quite a nice community to be a part of.
It is, yeah. I mean, we do have them that students on the course tend to sort of fairly quickly form small groups, quite supportive groups with each other, and they'll often sort of help each other a lot along the way, teach each other if they understand it and somebody else doesn't, and so on.
Yeah.
So,
I used to
yeah,
have when I was in my maths class, I used to be good at something and the girl I sat next to wasn't, and vice versa, and it
yeah.
just clicked and it worked. So thank you to that girl, I passed maths. So obviously with this course access, there's not many that do this across Leicester and Leicestershire, but what can you offer adult learners that other colleges and online courses cannot?
Um, I don't know really. I mean, like you say, there aren't that well. There's, I think, locally. Well, we're the only ones that just do access to engineering. I'm trying to think where the nearest place is, but I know we've had students that have had to come from places like Nottingham, Coventry, Peterborough, even further south. We have had a couple of people. We had somebody from the Isle of Man who
Oh,
came and
wow.
actually rented somewhere so he could do the access course because there was nowhere closer for him. So
Amazing.
sorry.
That's
Yeah, so
amazing. That
it
is.
is,
That is
yeah,
real
yeah.
commitment.
Yes, it is, yeah, definitely. And we have had people that have sort of commuted from London the 2 days a week, which again, because they can't find an access to engineering course somewhere closer.
And I think it's important to remember as well, people might be worried about doing engineering, not sure about how much engineering is part of the Midlands, but it is actually a massive hub for electrical, aeronautical, all them different and manufacturing engineering. So, and that is actually taking off even
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
So
yeah,
now we're out of the EU, it's more important that we have our own companies and they will be thriving. I mean, locally we've got Rolls-Royce as well. You know,
yeah.
they're all around this area. So it is the ideal place to come and study and start your engineering career.
Yes,
It is.
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yes.
I've
And
got, sorry, carry on.
I was reading in the paper that they say that sort of applications for things like engineering at university have gone up a lot this year, particularly with the effects of the pandemic and so on. So it's a good sort of, a good thing to go into. And there's lots of the universities that are investing quite a lot in engineering courses. So they're building a lot of new facilities and so on, which is really good. I know that some of our students have gone to Lincoln University, which is somewhere they hadn't gone in the past, but when they've gone and seen what it's like and so on, they've been so impressed that they've wanted to go there. So there are, lots and lots of good, really good places to go.
That's fantastic to hear. And actually, I remember reading, I don't know if you remember Andrew, who was one of the Access to
Oh yeah,
Engineering course. He got a place at Leicester and he's progressing really well there. So
yeah.
there should be no stigma around you going on to university through Access. They are widely accepted. They are across the country, and the opportunities are endless when you do. You can go to pretty much any university in the country. Okay, so there's one final question I have for you,
Okay.
and it's I missed the start of the course. Can I still join? Is there a limit?
So we usually, I mean, we do have this happen quite a lot actually. We usually go for the October half term as the sort of latest point to join, because you would just have missed too much really if you came in much after that. So that's sort of 6 weeks of the course that's already been done at that point. So I think, yeah, I mean, yeah, we do get people who change, they start on one course and realize it's not for them, and then they come and change and so on. But yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. So with that, I am going to say to you guys that the best thing to do is to go to the website, read all about the course in more detail, and apply. That is the best thing you can do right now. Early bird gets the worm, don't they? So go to leicestercollege.ac.uk. Unfortunately, you haven't been able to come on campus and see our facilities for yourself. We do have a virtual tour online that you can take advantage of, so you can see all the engineering facilities we have at Abbey Park campus. You can read more about the course. And as Alison has briefly touched on tonight, there's more information about financing your studies on there too. So I'd like to say thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you, Alison, for giving us such a detailed analogy of what the access course is. And I'm going to finish off with a video of the campus it's taught at Abbey Park.